And we are live. What's good, Josh? Man, DL Saint. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I really want to know podcast. How y'all feeling, man? I hope all is well. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. Happy hump day. Y'all know what it is. Um, yeah, y'all see I'm over here. I'm trying to hustle. I'm trying to crank. I'm trying to get myself out of this rut. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been in a rut lately, man. I just been have to you gotta when you get into those ruts, man, you gotta pull yourself up, man. It's easy to slide down into the basement, bro. It's easy to get caught up in that vortex and wind up in the basement. You gotta fight your way out. How do you do it? The first thing you gotta do to climb out of the basement is to get up. Literally get up and start doing stuff. So you're gonna see me, doing, DL shorts. You're gonna see me talking more on the phone, like all the stuff you've been seeing me do before over the past year or so. We've been doing this. I'm gonna keep doing it and then come up with even more stuff to do. Um, just different ways to get the message out. I have that go kit that I got with the, I got the Sony ZV-1 and got those wireless mics. I'm gonna start putting those to use too. I'm gonna get out there and just start doing more stuff. Um, Stay active. I'm gonna get out there, get active, and just kind of, push myself to just keep going forward. That's what you got to do, guys. I mean, it's hard out here, man. It's about to get harder. That's why I'm really forcing myself to get out here and do stuff now because the pain hasn't even gotten here yet. Right, the pain is coming. Like this can't like the yeah, it's about to get ugly in America. It's coming slowly creeping up. We've been talking about that cloud out there slowly creeping up. So I'm preparing myself now because you don't want to be caught lying down when things get bad. When the defecation hits the oscillator, that's army talk for when the shit hits the fan. You want to be up and running and ready to go. You don't want to be, you know, already down. You don't want to be that person already down. So that you're gonna see more of it. I'm gonna keep forcing myself to do it. If you guys are out there struggling a little bit, kind of like me, like if like if it's just being smashed, you're being crushed, like if it seems like life is really getting to you, don't lay down. If you find yourself down, man, force yourself to get up. That's the first thing. Get up, get out that hole, engage, get out there, push forward. Don't just lay there and let life just run you over like a steamroller, man. Just what I'm saying? Just get up and push forward. That's what you got to do. That's what it takes. That is the secret. That's the secret sauce. That's the first step to that success, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to be successful at. That's the first step. You got to get up. You can't low crawl your way to the win. You can't low crawl your way to success. You got to get up and get on your own 2 feet. You got to push forward and push forward for real. You know what I mean? So, what are we going to be talking about today, man? We're going to be talking about social media and the effects social media has on our children, man. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Yes, yes, yes. Get some. That's what you got to do. You got to get up. You got to get some. You know what I mean? I see you. What's good, young knight? Jack Black in the building. It's good, fam. I see you. And that stuff I was talking about when it's tough and life gets you down, you're going through some hardships, or you're going through whatever you're going through, the trials, the tribulations, if you want to get biblical with it. You know what I mean? You're going through all that. Yeah, you need your faith, whatever your faith is, but you really need your tribe. You need your team. You don't have a team, build one. You need your team. We've built a team here in Tampa, right? The new Templars. We built a team and we're going to continue to grow. Like that's what you got to do. You got to get out there and grow. So, you know what I mean? That's one of the young knights right there. I know if I got an issue, if I got to get something done, I need somebody with me. I can hit up one of the knights. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I have my people. I have my close circles here too. You know what I mean? Like two of the closest people in my life are here. And I'm lucky. I'm fortunate that I have that. And then beyond that, I have another circle of people who know me from the sandbox to now. So place yourself in a situation where you have support. People you can holler at. when things get bad. People you can holler at when you're thinking about doing something stupid. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's this social media thing, right? Look, everything is social media now. Everything is social media. The pressure um to get likes, to get people to look, to get views, the pressure to build your clout and be accepted by people you don't know and you will never meet in your life. It's crazy what's going on. What is this doing to our children? And I mean, I know a lot of parents out there, and you don't even have to be a parent to gain some insight from this talk we're having right here. You don't have to be a parent. You could be, you could be an uncle, what I mean, you could be an aunt, a brother, a sister, just a close family friend. Children truly do need a village, man. And they don't have that village anymore. And they're trying to go out here and they're finding these virtual villages or these virtual tribes online, and it's all fake. And they can't tell the difference from the fake stuff and the real stuff, and they have no reference. So you guys know I'm a single dad. I'm always talking to my daughter about this stuff. I'm always talking to my daughter about the cyber world, on being online, like who are you interacting with, the virtual reality world, like what's going on. My daughter wants to start a Twitch. She's doing miraculous stuff so she can start this Twitch. It's just blowing my mind, the things that she's capable of doing, because she wants to do this thing. I mean, to the point where she's doing things I don't think she'd ever be able to do. Like, she's just one grade away from making the B honor roll. Some other things she want with Twitch would kind of cost a little bit. So now she's sitting there ready to make the A honor roll. She's trying to, she's like, you want this, you got to clean up your room. You got to clean up your bathroom. You got to she's doing everything and doing it right. It's just like blowing my mind. Like, you need to cook your own dinner. You need to come over here. She's doing all that. I was just like, wow, it's amazing what children would do when they want something. And it's like, not to hold it over their heads, but at the same time, people use different techniques. And my technique is, you know, carrot and stick. I'm gonna help you do whatever it is you want to do, but you got to help yourself by doing these things. You know what I mean? And it's working for me. Like I said, parents use different techniques. Wonderful 34 is in the building. What's good, fam? Always a pleasure to see you. Parents use different techniques. I'm using my technique. I talked to my people who done raised their kids already, and we did it this way. I'm like, well, it's two of y'all, and it worked for y'all, but I got to do it this way. It's split household. I don't know what's going on the other side. They don't know what's going on over here. And children are real good at playing the two against each other. So I'm like, all right, we got all that going on. I'm like, but let's talk about what's going on out there. Whenever I pick my daughter up, how was your day? What's going on in your world? She'll tell me, oh, some kid pulled the fire alarm. We had a false fire alarm again. These kids were fighting, whatever. Like, she's telling me what she's seeing in her world. Okay, well, what's going on in the cyber world? What's going on there? And then she'll tell me about what's going on. Oh, yeah, well, I was playing this game with some people, and then I was playing that game with some people, and then she'll tell me about some kids. It's like this one kid, you know, we were talking about alcohol, talking about being drunk. I don't know how, I forget how the conversation came up. That's what we were talking about. And I was taking her to her mom, and I was like, well, you really don't want to drink. You really don't want to do that, especially when you're young. It's like, it's really bad for your development. It's kind of bad for your head. And like, you're not missing nothing. Like, you're gonna get sick. Alcohol really is nasty. I mean, you just, I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to mess around with that until I was much older. And it's not like I was giving her permission to drink. She's not telling me she's drinking or anything like that. But we're just having this conversation, because I never want to be that parent who's like, don't do this. I like to give reasons. You tell somebody don't do this, that's the first thing they're gonna go do. Like, well, I can't wait to do that. So I tried a different technique. I mean, we keep the communication lines wide open. And then she was saying, like, yeah, one of my friends online, virtual world, one of those type friends, not in real world, but out there, she's like, yeah, that one of my friends was, they drink. I'm like, what? And she starts telling me, like, yeah, they said they were drunk and da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to do that, because this is what can happen to you. Like, you get out there, you don't know what you're doing. There's people who go out there, they drink to excess, they drink too much, they pass out, they don't know what they did. Right? Then we live in a world where people will get pictures of you, they think it's funny. So there you are, passed out, and then people will, like, you know, pose your body in certain ways and move your clothes around and take pictures. Then what? What are you gonna do? Those pictures are out there forever. They ain't never coming back. Like this is why you want to always, especially when you're around people you don't really know, you want to make sure that you have your wits about you. And we had a long conversation. This is these are the things that, parents, I believe, should be talking to their kids about and interacting with their kids. But I know it's hard. I know it's hard. There's a lot of single parents out there. There are a lot of moms and dad in the same houses with their kids, but everyone is working really hard. Like I said, we know hard times are coming. So I get it. Mom and dad is out there working hard, trying to make ends meet, trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents. You know what I mean? Trying to get to next week. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, especially when the kids are older. You expect more from your kids. Just go do this, just go do that. And the kids are, yes, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But they have freedom and their own social media, and they have those pressures that the parents didn't necessarily have when they were growing up. We didn't have social media. I was a cool kid in school. You know what I mean? Middle school, high school, even elementary. I was a cool kid. I was known, but we didn't have social media. We weren't out there trying to get likes, right? We weren't out there trying to get clout. We went out there doing all that. We didn't have that. It was real world. Like what's going on in the real world? We out here doing this. What's going on? Y'all going skating? You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to worry about all that. We really weren't worrying about prom like that. Like we had other things on our mind. We were outside. These kids ain't outside, man. They're in that cyber world and they are locked into this, man. So we definitely need to talk about it. So we got a video lined up here, and we also got an article from the Child Mind Institute. This is something I found. I just did a quick little search and I found this thing. Let's check this out. Right. And again, you don't have to be a parent, but this is, maybe one day you will be a parent, for those who will maybe become a parent one day, for those who are just around kids that are part of that extended village. Like I said, your nieces, your nephews, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, whatever it may be, your friends. These are things that, maybe you can help with. You sitting there, see the kids sitting there like, yo, what's going on? What's going on in your world? What's going on in the cyber world? What games do you play? Like who's in those games? What I mean? What are they doing? What kind of pictures are going back and forth? Like what, have those conversations. Gotta let these kids know the consequences of their possible actions. Like this is the world we live in. Right? You gotta let these kids know that the consequences of their possible actions. Like we give these kids all this technology and we just turn them loose. Right? You wouldn't just give your child an AR, load it all the way up for them. You know what I mean? Take the safety off, put one in the chamber, say, here you go play with it. You wouldn't do that. Right? But the cyber world could be just as dangerous, if not more so. You know what I mean? It just, we're just sending them out there with these new cyber weapons, and we're not training them up. We're not telling them what to expect. We're not telling them the long-term consequences. They're just, here you go, going out there. Wonderful 34 is saying, do you tell your kid what you've done in your youth? And if so, do you sugarcoat it or no chaser? I do tell her what I was doing. And it depends on what we're talking about, or the reason that I'm telling her the difference between our generations, whether I sugarcoat it or not. Sometimes it'll be kind of playful. You know what I mean? Wonderful 34 is like, for me, no chaser. Sometimes it'll be playful. If we're talking about puppy love, boyfriend, girlfriend kind of stuff, I'll make that playful. But there was an incident where my daughter did something real bad, like real bad. And then it was no chaser. We was talking about that. I'm like, what you did is technically a felony. You did that to anybody else, they be coming to lock you up right now. And then we sat down and we were talking about the penal code. We were looking at stuff. I was like, look, when I was your age, we were out here, we were taking penitentiary chances. I was your age. I was in the streets, right? We were doing it. Trust me. We was doing all sorts of stuff. Vandalism, robberies. We were doing assaults. We were doing all types of stuff. You know what I mean? I never really did burglary once. I accidentally found myself in a situation where I was in somebody's living space. I didn't realize it. But we didn't intentionally go in there thinking somebody lived there. But you know what I mean? It was, I told her. Like when I was your age, this is what we was doing. We was playing for real. Right? We was playing for real. I haven't told this story the first time I had somebody put a gun in my face. Just I was 2 years older than she is now. I was a year older than she is right now. First time someone put a gun in my face. So we haven't had that talk yet, but we will. We'll get there. So it depends on what we're talking about, whether I sugarcoat it or not. You see, I'll sugarcoat it, you know what I mean, sometimes, but when it's really important, and it needs to land, it's no chaser. Like this is the world we live in. You get one time to make a mistake. This particular world right now, in America especially, man, they ain't trying to hear it. You get one mistake, they're gonna lock you up. Even if you're a female, you're a cute female. Right? How many chances you think they're gonna give you? And depending on who responds to the scene, you still only gonna get that one chance. They don't care if you're a woman, they don't care if you're cute, they don't care if you crying. Like you sitting here, you a party to some crime that's a felony or whatever, man. They ain't gonna just put you in the car and bring you home to your parents and be like, you better give her a stern talking to. Nah, nah. They gonna call you from the precinct and tell you get a lawyer and come down here. Get your child. Your child is facing this many cases, this many counts of whatever. That's what they're doing these days. So these kids need to know. They need to know. Plus, they're not outside. And the line between right and wrong with these kids these days is blurred. Parents aren't really telling them. You know what I mean? Brother Jack is saying the scam rate on kids is high as the elderly. Facts. Man, look. And that's the scamming stuff, like the non-scamming stuff. There's a lot of predatory stuff going on with corporations and people. You know what I mean? Especially with like cell phones and stuff like that, man. These games, online gaming and online, gambling and just online all this and that. Bro, it's crazy. The AI girlfriends. We've talked about AI girlfriends. Y'all starting to see these stories out here about these dudes who are hooked or addicted to their AI girlfriends. We'll do another one. We'll do another one. AI girlfriends is the worst thing that could possibly happen to America, in my opinion. The absolute worst thing that could possibly happen to America at this time, especially at this time. I mean, it's crazy. They are doing things. They're using science, right, to manipulate you, man, without you even know. It's like on a subconscious level, bro. Just like they do in Vegas, man. Why you think so many old people go out there and lose all their money to slot machines? They do it here. Seminole Hard Rock Casino, right here. They do it here. They go in there play them slot machines, bro. 25 cents at a time, a penny at a time, $1 at a time. They're gonna get all your money, get the whole, you know what I mean? Get the whole $1,500, get the whole $3,000 Social Security, whatever it is they get. They just be sitting there hitting that button, bro, smoking cigarettes and drinking. So yeah, man, they go after kids because kids don't know, and they go after old people because old people don't know. I mean, one of 34, he's like, he's like, and I have girls, bro. Grandkids, 9, 10, and 13, bro. Yeah, I got a beautiful daughter, man. Beautiful daughter. I'm so fortunate that she's not, girly. She's not into boys really that much right now. I mean, I know it's gonna happen, but we talk. We talk. And here's the kicker. And these kids, especially any kid is like, 13 and up, bro. If they want to fool you, they can. Especially if they got freedom. If you're working, I'm not sitting here trying to, frighten you or anything like that, but just understand your kid knows how to present one way in front of you and then do something else when you're not there. All kids do. So just my way of handling this is, well, we're just gonna, like I said, carrot and a stick. Tell me whatever it is you did, and you get a pass. If I find out what you did, it's gonna be a problem. I want that communication. I want her to come and tell me, like, I did this and I know I messed up. Okay, cool. We can work with that. As opposed to me finding out because there's a warrant for your arrest, or me finding out because somebody coming around here looking for you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got to deal with this situation out here, but then I'm going to come in here and deal with you. So that's my take on it. But this article, I think, is pretty cool. Again, this is from the Child Mind Institute. And it says this should be a quick read, but it says some experts worry that teens are more anxious and have lower self-esteem because of social media and texting. There are key differences to socializing online. Teens miss out on things like body language and facial expressions. This can lead to misunderstandings and hurt feelings. It can also make talking in person feel more intimidating. Facts. We know that's true. Right? We know that's true just off rip. We know that's true. I mean, there's so many people who don't know how to interact in real life. Like, we had the nerds or whatever. Some people call them dweebs or whatever, the weirdos when we were coming up. And those are the kids who really didn't go outside that much, or the parents forced them outside, but they wouldn't leave the yard. They were just into other things. They were watching the insects move around, or, they had, whatever they were playing with, Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. Right? They had a telescope that they used want to play with the telescope or whatever they were doing. They were just on a different vibe, right? A different plane. And it was us. We was out there just being rowdy, playing sports, playing hide and seek, you know what I mean? Throwing, we used to call them dirt bombs, but basically just like, clumped up dirt, like hard dirt. We would throw it at each other and it would like, we hit and it'll explode when it hits us. It still hurt. There'll be rocks embedded in those things sometimes, man. We have rock fights. We had straight up rock fights. We just throw rocks at each other. No helmet, no pads, just, people getting hit in the head, getting hit in the eye, blood everywhere. We didn't care. We was being if it was a dangerous place, we were there. It'd be in construction sites. We ain't supposed to be in there. Construction sites closed down for the day. It'd be like puddles of water everywhere. We're just throwing these big old red cinder block things and into the water. And if like we would play a game, like you run through there, and if the water hits you, you're out. Like you're just throwing these big old rocks and splash. And if the water gets on you, like you were out. It's stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. But that's what we were doing. We understood how to socialize in real life. We understood body language, facial expressions, because we were out there dealing with it. Today's kid, they don't do it. I mean, all they do is text and on various platforms and this and that. They have no idea. I mean, trying to talk to like younger women, and younger dudes too. They were trying to communicate and text and all that good stuff, bro. You have no idea. Like, what did that text mean? Right. And then kids are using hieroglyphics these days. You got all these emojis and stuff like that. We're not using full words. It's not yours, you are, like you and are. You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy. It's a different way of doing business. It does stunt your development because you're spending all that time on, online in this made up world. You know what I mean? It's like no sarcasm in text. Sometimes there is, and you don't know. Trying to read between the lines on a love note is one thing, but trying to read between the lines on a text, how about when they're texting you thinking you're someone else? That's another problem. And they try to they're trying to get themselves out of that situation. How many times people have done that? Someone's buck hard you and the phone's on and you listening to them make out with their other friend and then dudes get mad. I can't believe she cheating on me. I can't. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the game. Let's get back to the article. And these kids do feel intimidated when they're in person. They just clam up. It's also common for kids to feel bad about themselves when they see everyone online looking perfect. Teens often try to compensate by sharing pictures that make them look perfect too. Then, when their social media identity doesn't match how they actually feel, they can end up feeling worse. Right? Not just kids. Not just kids, right? Grown-ups. This is the problem with online dating. This is the problem with Instagram, right? This is the problem with Facebook, Snapchat, all the rest of it. It's all fake. It's good to go until it's time to meet somebody IRL. It took me a long time to figure out what that meant in real life. It took and it's like, yo, you finally meet somebody, you don't look like that. That's immense pressure to be putting on a young child, especially a young girl. I mean, boys, when we were growing up, we were used to being disappointed. It wasn't no big thing. We knew, we just knew it like, man, we're going to have to work hard. Probably going to take a loss. We're going to take an L on this, take an L on that. We might get through. I mean, we just knew, you don't hear no a lot. But for little girls, especially online, the pressure to be pretty, to be prettier, to have cooler stuff, right? To live up to this fake life, that pressure. And then what is that pressure going to lead them to do? That pressure could have them lead to them trying to holler at some bad people, trying to get stuff so they can continue to live this fake life. You know what I mean? So gotta be careful, especially with the girls, but boys too. There's people out there hunting little boys. There was some secretary at a high school in Miami. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this story. This story broke, I think it was end of last week. Secretary at a high school was making inappropriate advances towards one of the high school boys, like touching on him and saying all this stuff. And and it got to a point where it was so bad that this young boy was having panic attacks. It got so bad that he had to tell his, he had to tell his friends, had to tell his, grown-ups or whatever, and they came and this woman got arrested. And when she got arrested, she tried to lie and say it was the little boy. I say young man, the teenager, was making inappropriate advances towards her. Luckily, there was video. There was footage from cameras inside the school because this kid worked in the office. There was, there's footage from the office. And then, of course, there were other kids who saw the stuff and they could, collaborate. See, this is what happens when I try to use big words. I'm glad it's only a couple of y'all watching this. Collaborate the kid's story. He's like, look, it wasn't me. And I think what it boils down to is the boy didn't find this woman attractive. But this is a grown woman. This woman was like old enough to be his mom, making inappropriate sexual advances towards this high school student. And even we live in a society now, it's like, well, shoot, why didn't he just go ahead and get some dome? Why didn't he go ahead and just, right? Because I guess that was a part of the story was that the woman had the young boy go into the I guess a storage closet somewhere in the office, and then she followed him in there, and he was bent over, and she had her hand with her long nails, kind of nails they be wearing, and she was kind of rubbing her nails on the small of his back while he was bent over, and saying things like, if I was your age, I would have you, or you never get away from me, or whatever she was saying, and it was driving the little boy crazy. He didn't know how to handle that. Why didn't he know how to handle that? Because he's probably never been outside. Something like that happened. I'm gonna say if things like that happened when I was in high school. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to some other dudes, and it happened in elementary school too, and middle school. We knew who the freaky, touchy teachers were, females. We knew, and they were doing their thing. And sometimes it was just they would like to expose themselves, and then sometimes it was full blown intercourse. So this isn't a new thing. It's just now with social media and everything, these women are getting caught and they're getting prosecuted as they should. These young dudes, but apparently this guy on social media they were clowning this little boy. They was saying that he was he was playing for the other team. They say he was part of the alphabet mafia or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're giving them the pronouns of dudes like that. I mean that's an immense amount of pressure, bro. You out there, you got some grown woman hitting on you. For whatever reason, you ain't welcoming her advances. People find out and they start clowning you, saying you less than because you didn't want to. That's just not cool for a kid. But that's the society we live in. Could you imagine if that was a young girl and it was some man rubbing his hands on the small of her back and all that, whew, saying the things that she was saying? You know what I mean? Double standard, man. That's just how the game is, bro. Let's get back to the article. So parents can help by setting a good example of how to use tech. Try to give kids stuff. Try to give kids your full attention when you're with them and establish tech-free zones in the house and tech-free hours when no one is on their phones. Yeah, that's a good idea. You could try that. To help build self-esteem, kids get involved in something they're interested in. When kids learn to feel good about what they can do instead of how they look and what they own, they're happier. I agree with that. Um, I don't have tech-free zones in here. You know what I mean? But normally when we're sitting down, I'll tell my daughter she can't have her phone around. Actually, she lost her phone, so we don't have to worry about the smartphone anymore. So it's not like this is a tech-free zone, but it kind of is. We didn't have to establish it. It is what it is. But I'm constantly talking to my daughter. I want to know what's going on. Give her a space as well, but constantly talking. I'm not one of those parents like, oh, I'm gonna knock on the door and let you know I'm coming in. I just kick the door in. I'm coming in. It is what it is. Like, well, what if your daughter is changing? It's my daughter, man. I'm her dad. It is what it is, man. I changed her diaper, bro. I ain't tripping. And she know what time it is. She'll hear me come out, grab it. If I kick the door, she'll be like, oh, I'm changing. All right, I'll come back in a second. But I ain't having it. This is my room. Stay out of my room. No. You ain't gonna be in here, stockpiling munitions and making things to go boom. Well, no, I go through here. I know where you had your money. I know where you had your candy, all that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say nothing. It's cool, but I gotta make sure ain't nothing crazy going on in there. It's okay. Hey, ladies in the building, what's good, sis? Good afternoon to you. So yeah, I don't have the tech free zone thing, but it makes sense. You know, it does make sense. I would say the biggest thing is conversation, keeping that those lines of conversation open with your child. You want to make sure your child can come to you when they need to. My daughter and I, we understand that. We talk about that a lot. And I've explained to her the importance of me being able to help her. I'm here to help her. If she does something wrong, I need as much time as I can to fix it. You can't come to me. You can't come to me at 5 o'clock in the evening and say, hey, I messed up. I think, the police gonna be coming over here to pick me up in 15 minutes. I can't do anything in 15 minutes. And just call a lawyer. Like, we might as well just take you to the police now or whatever. Like I need time to be able to fix it. So we had those conversations all the time. Is my daughter keeping secrets? I'm sure she is. Most kids do. It, will she outright lie to me? Yeah, maybe. She doesn't want to, you can tell. So if it's something she doesn't want to tell me because there's something that's going on with the other house, I'll respect that. Like, all right, cool. But again, my daughter be like, look, it's nothing bad. No one's gonna get hurt. It's just I don't want to talk to you about it. I ain't comfortable talking to you about it. Like, cool. Doesn't mean she's doing something wrong. It doesn't mean, what I mean? It's just something that, I gotta give my child. I gotta give my child a little bit of leeway. I gotta trust her a little bit. Like, all right, I'm gonna trust you. I'm like, but don't you let this go too far, whatever this is. It gets too far and I can't help. Don't do that. She's like, nope. If it gets bad, I'll come to you. I'll tell you. Like, all right, cool. You gotta ask the questions. Right. So, and that's real life stuff. And that's also for social media. Right. So we got a video loaded up here. I want to show you guys a video. The evil world of Instagram. Right. We gotta check this out. When I saw this, I was just kind of like, damn. Definitely need to talk to my kid. You know what I mean? Like, this is scary. And it makes sense. What's going on out there? People, I think Brother Jack was saying it. They're going after old folks and they're going after young folks. Right? They're going after those of us in the middle too. If if you slow enough, they're trying to get you. But the soft targets are the elderly and the young. And we have to be there. I know today we was waiting. My daughter and I were in the car. We're sitting in the car, about to drive out of our parking lot to go. I'm taking her to school, and this person walking by. Right, this woman's walking by, and she's not really walking as much as she's wobbling back and forth. So that kind of tells you, you know what I mean. She was definitely in that 70 percentile of Americans who are overweight or obese. She's in that, and she's walking by the car and she slows down and she looks, and I see her looking. I saw her coming. I'm like, I don't think this person is a threat. Uncle Saint's always got something on him. Always got something in arm's length. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't strike me as a threat, but I saw her coming. She slowed down, and I was doing something. I make, in situations like this, I make sure not to make eye contact because I ain't really trying to talk to you. First of all, secondly, it's the morning, and I'm a grouchy person in the morning. So is my daughter. So she's kind of doing the same thing. She's like looking down, or no, she closed her eyes. That's what she did. She closed her eyes, not like she was asleep. And I was sitting there keeping one eye on this person, and they kind of lumbered off. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're pulling out, and as we're pulling out, we have to go past this person, and they're trying to kind of get my attention, kind of a really half-ass wave down. I just drove right by them. I didn't think nothing of it. So that was this morning. The afternoon, we're coming home. We get home. I'm like talking to my daughter. I'm like, hey, do you see that person this morning, that lady this morning? She was walking by the car. She's like, yeah. I'm like, so what do you think was going on with that? She's like, I don't know, but it looked like that lady was going to try to say something to us. I'm like, yep. What do you think they was going to try to say? She was like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking she was probably going to ask us to give her a ride somewhere. That's what I'm thinking. And she was like, huh. Right. And it's funny because my daughter actually says that. She's like, huh. So I'm like, so if that happens to you, if a stranger asks you to take them somewhere, what would you say? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, you say no. First of all, it's a stranger. Secondly, you're not obligated to help people if you don't want to, especially if folks who just don't look quite right. Right. I think that's one of the rules of the Book of Power. Stay away from the unlucky and the what is it? Stay away from the unhappy and unlucky. This person fits that that category. This person looked very unhappy and unlucky. So, but I didn't tell my daughter that part, of course. But I told her, like, no, you're under no obligation to help strangers. Like, if you're somewhere, you're in a situation, someone asks you some help, you know, tell them, hey, I'll call the police, and just keep moving, keep driving. And my daughter was like, oh yeah, like if they want to ride, they can get an Uber. Like, exactly, they can get an Uber. Tell them to call Uber if they need help. Tell them to call 911 if they need help. Oh, you don't have a phone? I'll call 911 for you. You know what I mean, and drive off. Like, you are under no obligation to help folks. Now, of course, I'm going to go back and we did talk a little bit like, well, if they're your friends and family, like there's people that you really know, of course, you want to help those that are close to you, but you are under no obligation to help strangers. Now I know the story of the Good Samaritan and all that kind of stuff. There are layers to this thing, right? So we've started the conversation. We're going to continue this conversation as time moves forward. My daughter and I, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the story of the Good Samaritan. We'll talk about, you know, being kind to our neighbors and being um our brother's keeper. We'll talk about those things, but you got to be careful what you tell children. You can't tell children like, yeah, you should always go out and help others. No, you should not. Because people will use that against your child to get your child, to take them away from you, to do whatever to them, right? So, you know, I'm real careful, but these conversations, we just continue to have these conversations over time. And then my daughter will come back maybe a month or so, and then she'll ask again, like, well, what about this? And we'll continue to have those conversations. But now I want you to stay away from you know, the unhappy and the unlucky straight away. I want you to stay away from strangers. I want you to be very leery of people. I want my daughter to be smart. Let somebody else do it. Let them ask somebody else. Can you give me a ride? Nah, you don't need no ride. Matter of fact, you need these steps. You need these steps. Back on up. So let's get into this video. The evil world of Instagram scammers.
You're not safe from Instagram scams. Instagram has evolved a lot over the years. It went from being a simple app for photographers to becoming one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. In other words, there's a lot of money behind this platform, and wherever there's money, there's greed. Criminals have found ways to make money illegally on Instagram, but how do they do it? All right, so we're gonna go over the 5 most evil Instagram scams that are happening right now. Scams that even you could fall for. Hackers disguised as your friends. Picture this, you open up Instagram and see a message from one of your friends. Your friend says, hey, I got a new phone and I can't log on to my Instagram account. Can you help me? But the more you talk to them, the less they sound like your friend. They misspell words and talk as if they're from another country. They ask for your phone number so they can send you a verification code. Stop, don't give them your number. That is not your friend, that's a hacker. Your friend's account has been hacked. The hacker is pretending to be your friend to trick you into giving them your account too. This is how they do it. Let's say you forget your Instagram password. Instagram has a security feature that lets you use the phone number linked to your account to log in. Instagram will text you a code to type into the app, and you're back on your account. It's easy and even easier to abuse. You see, the hacker asks for your phone number so they can send the verification code to your phone. If you give them that code, you're basically giving them the keys to your Instagram account.
And now they have full access to your account because.
And now you know how people be getting fished out of their Instagram accounts, right? One way. You hear all these people, you see it, all these people hitting you up on Instagram. Hey, it's Myron from Fresh and Fit. Hey, it's George Gammon from the Rebel Capitalist. Hey, it's, you know, you name the entertainer, right? Right. It's Joe Rogan from the Joe Rogan Experience. Hey, I left my wallet. I'm over here in Switzerland. Can you send me $5,000? Sure, Joe Rogan. How did that happen? Someone, they got their stuff hacked. This is one of many ways to get yourself hacked. I'm pretty sure anyone who's watching this right now has experienced at least some version of this or some phishing attempt or something like that. I know when I first moved to Florida, this happened. It was a buddy of mine that I served with. Haven't talked to this person in over 20 years, right? Haven't talked to this person, but in the military, it doesn't matter. Like, you buddies, you could be gone for 30 years, come back. It's like you never missed a day, right? That's just how we work. And so this person this was on Facebook, And I'm very rarely am I on Facebook. I mean, it seems to be more hacking going on Facebook than anywhere else. Why? Because that's where the old people are. Right? They fall for this stuff like blind roofers every time. So this person is hitting me up, hey, using my government name right off rip. I'm like, this isn't my buddy. When I was in the military, I went by a different name. I had my military name. When I was in the street, I had my street name. When I was in high school, I had my high school name, and so on. So right off the rip, I'm like, this ain't my people. And then I hit them back like, hey, and it's like, we found this amazing opportunity. You could do this, that, and the third, and blah, blah. Let me send you this link so you can go get this information and blah, blah. It's for us veterans and all this other kind of stuff. I was like, oh, man, that sounds good. How much is it? And they, going back and forth. Yeah, this much money, whatever it was, $500, $1,000, whatever it was. It's like this much. But if you just send $100 now, I'm going to send you the link. You can send the money and you can all this stuff, right? And I'm like, cool, that's what's up. I'm like, hey, just one quick thing. Because, we're online or whatever, and I ain't seen you in a while. Where did I meet you? Tell me where we met, and I will send you $1,000 or whatever it was. And that was it. They were gone. They were gone. They knew I knew what time it was. And then I text my buddy. I said, hey, again, I ain't talked to my buddy in 30 years and the number still works. It's still a good number. I text my buddy like, yo, I think someone just hacked your Facebook. You might want to look into it. And in a couple of weeks, they hit me back like, yeah. And it took me like 2 weeks to get it back, man. They hacked me. They were hitting up everybody. I was like, yeah, let everybody know. Right. And I sent out a message on my Facebook at that time to let everybody know, hey, this person got hacked. And, if they hit you up, that's not them. And I'm pretty sure people got stories like that, right? Because that's just how it is. So be careful. I've had at least 3 or 4 stories like that. Someone hit me up. The whole thing is, I'm in Italy and I lost my wallet, or my wallet was stolen or something like that. Man, can you Western Union me $500? I've had that happen before with people that I know. Like, what? And even then, it's like, cool. I can do that, but just text me. Text me, because these are people that know me. Like, just text me, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't text me. And they would come up with some reason as to why they couldn't. I'm like, well, I can't do nothing for you, man. Right. And then, of course, while all that's going on, I'm calling the person, letting them know, like, hey, man, somebody done hacked your account, bro. And they're like, yeah, don't send no money. It's happened. Yeah, I think 3 or 4 times that I could think of in the past 2 years. So these attempts aren't that sophisticated, right? There are some very sophisticated ones out there, but these attempts aren't that sophisticated for most folks. But old folks will fall for it every single time, and young kids will probably fall for it as well, especially if the young kids have access to some type of money or some type of form of payment. They can, if they have a debit card or they have access to a credit card, they might fall for it. Let's continue.
When they put your username, your number, the code that went to your phone, they can now change your password and do whatever they want with your account.
These cyber criminals will then hold your account for ransom. And to get it back, they make you pay a ridiculous amount of money. While they're at it, they'll also use your account to send more scammy messages to your friends. You might be thinking, you have to be really stupid to fall for that, but think about it. Would you expect a friend to be a hacker? A lot of people don't, but this is one of the easier scams to avoid if you're careful. But some scammers are more specific with who they target. If you're a student, listen carefully, because this next scam is important to watch out for. Your bank account is in danger. Times are tough right now. Money is tight for a lot of us. And not having enough money to pay for college is a scary thought. It can make some students desperate, so they are the perfect target for these next scammers. Solomon Jackson account claims to be the official account of a rich lottery winner. He promises that if you're one of his first 50,000 followers, he'll give you money to help pay for your education. Solomon.
So here we go. We're talking about more sophisticated attempts, more sophisticated schemes. Here go one right here. And this is one that is definitely made for these kids, these know-it-all kids who are in college, normally freshmen and sophomore. They need money. Everybody wants that easy money. Everybody wants that quick bread. Everybody think they done hit a lick. I never heard about this one until I watched this video, and I'm like, man, that makes sense. Because what do kids do to verify? They just go online and they just Google search, and then bam, the first thing comes up. Well, the scammers already done that. They know what's going to come up. It's part of the scam. It's part of the scam. So that's one of those things. And young kids, again, these young kids, they want that fast, easy money. They looking for the easy way out. Here's a guy that likes to send people money. Look, Googled him. So let me do this. Let's continue.
Solomon Jackson will then message you and ask for your bank account information. And it goes without saying, don't give them your information. This is a crime that preys on young, vulnerable people. And the disguise they're using makes this crime even worse.
Jackson won the Powerball lottery drawing in 2009, earning more than $250 million.
Solomon Jackson is a real person who actually won the lottery. He donated over $10 million toward the education system in his hometown. But this Instagram account isn't the real Solomon Jackson, so unsuspecting students might search up his name and see the amazing things Solomon has done and think that these accounts are legit. But remember, if it sounds too good to be true, chances are it is. So far, these scams haven't been too bad, but some of these criminals go beyond just scamming. What if
And people are gullible. What I mean by that, they want it to be true. You know, it's just kind of like that knight in shining armor, or I found my princess kind of thing, the Disney fairy tale. The Disney fairy tale doesn't just apply to people out here trying to meet women, the romantic side of it. You know, they want that Disney fairy tale as well. Like, man, on Monday I was broke, and now here it is Thursday, and I just hit a $10 million lottery. Yay. You know what I mean? That's, people want to believe in that too. So, man, it's so many folks out there using other people's identities. You go through Instagram and see, I can't tell you how many Nita Pineapple Instagram accounts out there, and they're all they're all trying to siphon, you know, unsuspecting people from the real Nita the Pineapple, and they're just out there doing their thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's this is what people are doing. And they want to get a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. Some dude in Bangladesh, you know what I mean? Or, you know, some dude in Mumbai somewhere, or some dude, you know what I mean, in Medellin, who's running these schemes. $10 to them is a worthwhile lick. $10 to you might not be that much. Even someone who's not that rich in America, $10 might not be that's not a horrible hit. They lose $10, they're not, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna lose the house, but they might not be able to eat for the day or two, but they're not going to lose the house. But $10 in some of these countries in Africa, some of these countries in Central America, in Asia, in Europe, $10 will go a very long way. So to them, it's worth the scam. They got access to the computer. It's worth the scam.
I told you that these criminals use Instagram to recruit people, specifically children? The notorious gangs of Instagram. In 2023, a study showed that 72% of teenagers use Instagram. Because young people tend to be more open-minded, advertisers post ads there. But criminals take advantage of this too. They use Instagram to recruit young people to join their criminal activity. It all starts with a simple post. The criminals will post a video or picture of a huge stack of money and say something like, "Who wants to get easy money?" They encourage young people to message them to make money with them. If you tell them you're interested, the criminals will request all your personal information, your address, phone number, and photo ID. But most of all, they want your bank account information. If you give them all your personal information, you become an official money mule and your fate is sealed. A money mule.
Kids need to know about this. Kids need to know. Parents, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, y'all need to be telling these kids about these schemes, especially on Instagram. Because, man, they get caught up in this. You're a money mule. Man, you got all kind of problems. Not just problems from the people who brought you into this, like the gangbangers, but you got legal problems. The authorities are going to come in there. Now they're going to drag you into a case. We see the power of RICO in this country. The power of RICO gets people like this, the people like real victims. Now you drug into this case. You're looking at the same amount of time as the kingpin is looking up at all the way at the top of the pyramid. Like, you gotta sit down and tell these kids about this. You gotta let these kids know there's no such thing as easy money. Whenever my daughter comes up with money, I'm like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get it? And then she'll tell me like, oh, my mom gave it to me or this or that. You know, and you know, and if she gives me a story I don't like, then I'll reach out to her mom like, hey, did you give her some money? But I know that that's true. She's like, yeah, I get, you know, my mom pays me when I babysit my baby daughter. I mean, my baby sister, because she had, you know, her mom has a new baby. So I'm like, all right, cool. Then I talk to my daughter, well, how much do you get paid? And I start telling her, you know how much babysitters make. So then she goes back and renegotiate. So she knows. But again, you got to tell kids like, yo, what's up? Where you get that from? Where you get that outfit? Where you get that hat? Where you get that bag? Where you get them shoes? Where you get them slides? I ask them, like, what are you doing? And I always tell my daughter, if you're doing something that you are ashamed to tell me, that you're afraid to tell me, then should you be doing it? And she's like, nah, I shouldn't. I'm afraid to tell you because I'm the one that's going to have to get you out of whatever trouble you get yourself into. So you need to listen to me. Like some of these problems are real problems and you got to get your kids to understand.
Mule is someone who launders money that the gangs obtain illegally. They basically transport the money, and if the mules successfully transport it, they get a small cut. The more jobs they do, the more money they get. The gangs will tell the mules that there's no risk, but that's a lie.
So if you're a money mule, you can get arrested, you can get prosecuted, you can end up in prison.
You can get up to 14 years in prison for money muling. And if you're in too deep, it's too late to back out.
I don't care. I'm going to speak to a certain way so you don't feel like you have a choice and I'm focused into it. Manipulate.
According to Vice, there were nearly 26,000 cases of money muling in 2020. Some of these,
you know, Vice is pushing an agenda, so sometimes their numbers tend to skew high. Then you might have some more conservative outlets that will do the same, do the same expose, and their numbers will skew low. But the truth is, there are a lot of people out there getting caught up money launderer or money mules and whatnot. You gotta let your kids know, especially your teenage kids, because to them it's worth the risk. They're like, well, I'm trying to get that clout. I'm trying to have them stacks. I'm trying to do this and that. Right? You got kids on Instagram. You got kids on social media. You better make you a couple fake accounts and follow those kids and see what they're doing, because it's right there. And whatever they're doing, they're probably doing it from the comfort of your home. So they're executing some sort of criminal scheme from your home using your IP. Parents talking to y'all. You can find yourself implicated in this thing as well. Now, both of y'all looking at time. You probably be sitting there talking to your kid like, well, look, why don't you take the case that way? You just go do juvie time. They send me away. I got to go do the real big boy time. And who going to give you money if I'm locked up? Which would be a horrible conversation to have, right? I mean, or even worse, law enforcement's like, well, we're going to need you to cooperate with us and convince your child to, tell on the organization. Man, that's scary right there. But again, all this can be avoided if you talk to your kids. Now, I'm not saying that your kids won't do it anyway, but at least you can have that talk. And I tell my daughter all the time, hey, go out there. You know what's going on. You know the difference between right and wrong. You go out there and you get caught up, it's on you. I done told you. I'm not doing it. My father told me that. You can go out here and sell dope if you want to. You go out here and, be on the block. You know what I mean? He used to say, sell that stuff. You can go out there and sell that stuff, but I'm not getting you out of jail. He said up front, all right, cool. I'm going to do what I do. Like, all right, so I'm not going to hustle. I'm just going to hit this quick 211. But let's continue.
These cases involve kids as young as 14. These children are dealing with dangerous people.
Okay. So it's pure violence if they take the money.
Instagram has a lot of rules in place, but they're not enough. So many of these criminals remain on the platform. The profile of a criminal might look harmless, but behind it is a cold-blooded criminal that will do anything for money, even if that means ruining your future. Some of these Instagram criminals don't hurt you physically, they hurt you mentally, and it will break you apart. These are the scammers who manipulate the part of you that's the most vulnerable, your heart. I have an online girlfriend. Online dating is obviously super popular. According to cloudwords.net, almost 20% of Americans use dating apps to find love. And 54%.
Here we go. Online girlfriends. I got an online girlfriend or boyfriend. Here we go. And please, if you guys pop in, I appreciate all y'all coming through, dropping likes, coming in, showing the love, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. This online streaming stuff ain't no joke, man. I was just watching the lead attorney. He was talking about the Tyrese ex-wife case or soon to be ex-wife or whatever. I'm gonna be talking about that too, probably tomorrow. But in his live, he was talking about live streaming. One of his supporters came in, shot him a $50 super chat, who actually bought his, I guess, lead attorney has a course on how to online stream and, you know, basically just runs it down from beginning to end, like beginner level, medium level, and then advanced level, whatever. And man, he was talking about money. Like when I had this many subscribers, I was making this much a month. When it went to this many subscribers, I was making this much a month. I'm like, wow, which is kind of cool. It's just kind of random because I've been wondering what those benchmarks should be. And I don't normally watch Lead Attorney. It just this Tyrese thing. I'm thinking about talking about it tomorrow. I'm like, well, I'm gonna listen to this for a hot second. And he said that. I was only listening to it for 10 minutes. It was right before this stream started. So I'm like, that was pretty cool. I'm gonna have to send the Lead Attorney in the super chat just for that information right there. Next time he's on live, I'm gonna send him a super chat. I'm not a fan, but I'm not a hater either. Like I see what he's doing. It is what it is. But shout out to the Lead Attorney, man. I'll give him that. Scam Likely's in the building, man. What's good, man? I should have did that for you, but you know what? You get your own. You know what I mean? Because you Scam Likely. Scam Likely's in the building, and we talking about scammers, yo. So the dating finesse is crazy right now. And there's so many dudes getting caught up in it. Some women too, but mostly dudes. When you have the Tinder swindler out there was doing what he was doing, but there are more dudes out there doing that, getting some women. But it's I guess as from my male perspective, I would think that mostly men are getting caught up in this online dating thing and getting finessed and getting catfished. But I'm sure it's happening to women. But let's get into it.
4% of those online relationships are just as successful as the ones that begin in person. But sometimes people find love on other apps like Instagram. But as much as I wish I could say that these relationships end happily ever after, most of the time they don't. Because sometimes the person you're talking to isn't who they say they are. These people are called romance scammers. Romance scammers will target anyone and everyone, young or old. If you look like you have money, you're a target. These scammers create fake accounts using other people's pictures, then slide into your DMs to start a conversation with you. Most of the time, it's easy to see it's a scam because a lot of scammers write in broken English. But sometimes they're so convincing that even people who look for scammers fall for the scams themselves.
They don't fall for the scam, they fall for the picture. This I see all the time on Instagram. Some of you guys might know I have two Instagrams. There's the Instagram that I'm always putting on this show. This is the banner. This is the business Instagram, right? This is the best way to get a hold of me. This is the Instagram that I maintain and I constantly watch. I really want to know podcast. And then you go there and you'll see a picture of me on stage. My real name is there, my government name, and my comedic name. And it's a picture of me on stage or whatever. This is the Instagram that I use. I have a personal Instagram. Sometimes people hit me up. They'll find a personal Instagram. I won't accept them. Like, you got to know me in real life in order for me to accept you on that. That's just for family and, like people who know me in real life. So, I get so many requests on there, but on this, I really want to know Instagram. I get hit up on all the time. Hey, just a picture of some, beautiful woman. Hey, they want to ask, they try to start a conversation. Once when I was in LA, was I in LA? I might have been here. One of these romance scammers hit me up and I was actually going back and forth with them. I was here because I had the podcast. I was trying to get them on the podcast. They hit me up and I was like, yo, I know this is a scheme, yo. This is whatever. I know what you're doing. I got a podcast. I would love to get you on a podcast so you can kind of explain this to me in depth and let me know what the numbers are and why you do this and this and that. And initially they said, yeah, they would do it. Right. But it was like, all right, cool. I wanted this. My next step was going to be to set up a phone call. I was going to set up a phone call and I was going to set up a video call. And then I was going to have them do the podcast and they wanted money. So I was like, I'm going to do that. But, I was like, we were going to negotiate the price. Because to me, it would have been worth a small investment to get an actual scammer on the platform. Now, of course, I wouldn't have had their face on if they didn't want it. I would have, let them use an emoji, but we would have watched a video or something like this and then have them explain from the scammer's point of view what they're trying to do, so we can kind of give ourselves an idea of the best way to defend ourselves against this sort of thing. But man, I'm getting hit up constantly on I really want to know. There's so many accounts with just random women, so-and-so started following you. This person started following you. That person started following, because it's open to the public. My real Instagram, no, I have to approve you. So it just blows me away that this Joe Bro guy was able to get caught up a little bit by this phishing thing, right? So let's check this out. Remember, this is a guy who his Instagram or whatever and his YouTube or his social media he's the guy that tells you how not to get caught up. He actually got caught up. So this would be a good story to watch.
YouTuber Jake Bro has been making videos for over a decade. He's an Army veteran who posts content that includes videos on how to avoid scams. But in 2021, Jake fell for a girl he met on Instagram and was almost the victim of a scam himself.
So this is the Instagram account that I want everyone to watch out for. And it's Christy_Becca, and her name is Dr. Christy R. Johnson.
It all started when Christy started following Jake on Instagram and replied to one of his stories. They started to talk regularly. To Jake, Christy seemed like the perfect woman. She was intelligent, beautiful, and shared his interests.
So I even said as a joke, if you are catfishing me, then this is the greatest con of all time.
The more they talked, the more convincing Christy became. Her phone number was from the area she said she lived in, and she even shared childhood photos of herself with Jake. But something didn't seem right. Christy always had an excuse not to video chat Jake. She constantly asked Jake for pictures of himself when he was working out. Eventually, after she turned...
So there you go right there. So for those of you out there messing around with the dating apps, or those who are out there who are trying to slide into DMs on Instagram, you know, trying to do the whole DMs on demand thing, shout out to Fresh and Fit. You know what I mean? If you're doing that, if you're trying to romance in that sense, you're trying to hook up with people like that, the key to that is you got to see the person. So if you're on a dating app, the key is to get them off the dating app as fast as possible, right? So if you're on Tinder or whatever, Bagels and Coffee or whatever people are using these days, I don't even know, Bumble, Hitch, whatever they're using. If you got a conversation going on there, the thing is you got to get off of that app. You either got to get her Instagram or her number. You know what I mean? I would go for the Instagram. Get them off that. And it's going to do you two things. You jump onto their Instagram and it's just a funnel to get them to the, you know, to get you to their OF account. You know what time it is, right? You know what you're dealing with. You get over to their Instagram. Now you can see a little bit more personal stuff like he did. He's the number, the area code matches up with where this person said they lived, which wouldn't work in my situation because I used to live in California. I still have that area code, but I live in Central Florida. Right. So, I mean, but that's just one of those things like, oh, okay. You meet someone on Instagram. Once you guys text a little bit, if you guys been texting back and forth for like a solid day, 2 days, like I've been texting back and forth regularly, set up a video call. You can do that on Instagram. You can set up a video call. You can set up a voice call. I would recommend setting up a video call. Get that video call. Now you can see who you're dealing with. Now you can see her. Bet, that's cool. Got the video call out the way. Now you can do voice calls or get back to texting. Right? So just remember that if y'all guys out there and you're moving in the social world, the social media world, you're out here in the cyberspace, you're trying to find a girlfriend or boyfriend, a significant other, whatever you're trying to do, remember that. You must see them soon. And I'm saying, like, if you got to get them off the dating app ASAP, and you must see them via video, like a FaceTime. This should happen within the first 3 days of y'all going back and forth. Y'all have one good day of texting, and then bam, you need to see this person. So this is what saved this guy. Luckily for this vet, this Army vet, he sounds like a leg. I could be wrong. A leg is a non-airborne personnel, non-airborne person. He sounds like a leg, but he's a smart leg. He's out here and he's like, man, this is he's failed for the Disney fairy tale, right? He's looking at these pictures. She's Dr. So-and-so. She's successful. She's beautiful. She's funny. She's witty. Look at these pictures. Wow, she's showing me stuff from her childhood, right? We're texting all the time. This is great. He might even have gotten a voice call. I don't know if they covered that in this, but he might have gotten a voice call. So you can talk to him like, oh man, you're talking to him. You need to see them. You need to see them. You need to do a FaceTime. This is to protect you. You need to do a FaceTime, right? Even if you meet somebody on a dating app, you know, all that information, all the pictures, you need to do a FaceTime or a face-to-face. On the dating apps, when I was doing dating apps, I haven't done, last time I tried dating apps was in 2000. I'm sorry, 2020. 2020. When I was doing dating apps, that was it. You match with somebody or whatever, like, what's good? Okay, you in the area, that's cool. Yo, let's meet up. Let's go get a smoothie. Yo, you know, what neighborhood you live in? Oh, I live in Hyde Park. Oh, cool. There's a smoothie place in Hyde Park that I go to all the time. Or there's a rooftop bar in Hyde Park that I go to. Matter of fact, I'm going to be there Friday. You should come through. Right. So it's like when you're in the dating world, the expectation is to meet right away. That's the whole point of doing all this, right? The expectation is to meet. And then when you're dealing with a person who's always coming up with excuses not to meet or whatever, man, just go ahead, shut that down. They ain't real. They ain't real. And if they are real, they bullshit. They don't want to see you. They just there, they want the attention. They want, you know what I mean? They just really, it's just the attention. Right? They just want the attention. So don't waste no more free attention, right? No more free nothing. Move on to the next one. So there's no need to do the FaceTime if y'all gonna meet up in real life. On a dating app, they should be willing to meet up in real life. I never had a problem with that. It's like, yo, we match, we talk for a couple of days, bam, let's meet. Let's get coffee. Let's go get, you know what I'm saying? Let's go, let's get drinks at the rooftop joint. Let's meet at the park. We meet in real life. Instagram, same thing. You might not gonna meet in real life. They might not live in your neighborhood. They might live in another state, but you can do the FaceTime. And you must do the FaceTime, right? Don't get caught up with these people looking for just validation and looking for attention and all this kind of stuff. That you got to meet that person. You got to see that person. So we're going to see if in this video, I wonder if he got a voice call, and this is like the Instagram world. But remember, the person on the other end was asking for pictures. Send me some pictures of you. Send me this. Send me that. Hey, what are you doing today? Send me a picture of you right now. That's going to lead to something. Let's see what it leads to.
Turned down another video call. Jake put his foot down and said he wasn't going to give her any pictures until they had a real video call. Then silence. Christy completely ghosted him, and that's when Jake knew he'd been catfished. After doing more research, Jake realized that this catfish was professional.
So what's happening here is the real woman in these pictures is posting to her Instagram, and the scammer is following her, just stealing them and then duplicating it on this Instagram account.
That's diabolical. That's diabolical. And y'all see those pictures? I don't know which one she was, but little shorty was fine. That's diabolical. That is. If you're a scammer, that's a brilliant scam. That's an active Instagram account. He's basically cloned her Instagram account, right? Posting these pictures or whatever, and you're looking at that like, wow. And like I said, and I don't think he got a phone call. Like a lot of times you get a voice call. It doesn't sound like he got a voice call. That's why you must do the FaceTime. You must do the FaceTime. But man, oh man, that's diabolical. Let's continue.
What makes this even more unsettling is the catfish was using a real girl's pictures since 2012, meaning that they've been profiting from her account for over a decade. This worked because all of the comments on the catfish's posts were guys just like Jake who believed they were in a relationship with Christy. Christy also differed from other scammers. You may have noticed that Christy never actually asked Jake for money. She was asking for pictures. This is because the person behind the account is one of the worst kinds of scammers you could possibly imagine. In this next chapter, we'll find out exactly what they do to steal your money. The world's most disgusting scammer.
Like it's real out here, y'all. It's real out here. When you have that type of catfish going on, right? With a woman who looks that good, and it's another thing too. Like, and this is why when people talk about, like when I go out and meet folks, right? If I'm out and about and I'm talking to a woman, whatever, we chatting each other up, like she's cool, great conversation, we're having a good time, right? I don't ask for phone numbers anymore. Like I stopped asking for the phone numbers a couple years ago. Now I'm always at social media. Yo, let me get your Instagram. I used to ask, do you have Instagram? Now it's like, yo, let me get your Instagram. I'm making up numbers here, but I'm gonna say 98% of the time they're like, bam, I got Instagram. You know what I mean? That 2% of, women is like, I don't have Instagram. They never add that last word anymore. Like, I don't have Instagram anymore because they got tired of it, right? Maybe it messed up what they were doing. Maybe it got too much negative attention or whatever, but the vast majority of people out there, especially those folks who are out there in the trenches, they have a social media, they have an Instagram. So my thing is, let me get your Instagram. And again, you can do everything from Instagram. You can text, you can call, you can FaceTime, all that on the app. No problem. It's the best way. I love it. And if something goes wrong, if it doesn't work, boom, just unfollow. It's not a big thing. And if they really bad, block. Right? Like it is me, block. So Instagram is the way. Instagram is the way. So when I come across a woman and I say, hey, let me get your Instagram, I will say that 75% of the time, maybe 80% of the time, the women that I talk to, their Instagram is public. And that's always kind of a letdown. I'm like, oh man, she got a public Instagram, which means she's welcoming all kind of attention from all sorts of folks. It is like setting it on max. I want the maximum exposure when you have a public Instagram. And when I meet a woman and she gives me her Instagram and it's private, I get excited. Like, ooh, yo, you got a private Instagram, huh? Right. And then you get in there and then like the public Instagram, you see someone with a public Instagram and they have thousands and thousands or tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, right? It's like they're in it for the clout. They're in it for the validation, man. They're in it for the attention. Then you meet someone, private Instagram, you get in there and you realize they have maybe, you know, a couple hundred people following them, and they pretty much follow everybody that's following them. Like the public ones, you know, they might have 10,000 followers and they only follow like, you know, 20 people or 80 people or something like that. That's all about the clout. That's another talking point. Look how important I am. All these people follow me, but I only follow, right? People talk about red flags. It's just, you know what I mean? To me, you can call it a red flag, but I'm just kind of like, that's a moment. Huh. Right? Okay, I see what it is. Private Instagram, not a whole lot of followers. You know what I mean? Like I said, less than 1,000 followers. And they are following 90% of the people that are following them. That is like, okay, you might be on your way to getting you a good one right here. Like you might be on your way to getting you a good one. So just keep that in mind for whatever it's worth. You know, because people who looking for that validation could be a problem. So the world's most disgusting scammer. Let's see what happens here.
We've talked about some of the most evil scammers on Instagram, but this one is probably the most disgusting one, the extortionists. Imagine the scenario. A boy falls in love with a girl on Instagram. The boy was so in love with the girl that he's forgotten how long they've been talking and brushes aside the fact that they haven't video chatted yet. Not to mention his online partner is super attractive. So when his online partner asks for a spicy picture of himself, he doesn't think twice. He sends this selfie to his online girlfriend, and everything is fine until the next day. The boy gets an Instagram DM from this girl, but it's actually from the girl's father. The father says he saw the photos he sent and that his online girlfriend is actually underage. The dad sounds violent in his messages and threatens to send the photos to everyone the boy knows, his friends, his family, his school. The girl's father now tells the boy to send him a huge amount of money. Only then would the pictures be deleted. This is what an extortionist does. Extortion.
That right there is real. This part of the video is why I wanted to do this live. That part right there, to me, scares me. And I'm married, born, and we ain't scared of shit. Why does it scare me? Because I have a little girl. I have absolutely had that conversation with my daughter. We talk at length about pictures. We talk at length. I explain to my daughter how the legal system works. If someone underage sends a nude picture, that is a federal law being violated. That is against the law. That is so bad that somebody is going to jail. And I would explain to my daughter, if you take my phone and take a picture of yourself that's naked and you send that picture to somebody, but that picture is still on my phone, the police come and take that phone and find that picture, I can go to jail for that. And my daughter just kind of looked at me, eyes got this big, like, what? I can go to jail for that. You are a kid. You're a minor. You can't send pictures like that. And then we went into like, I was like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And I told my daughter, some person, some dude is gonna get into your head, and at some point in your life, you're gonna send some of them pictures. I'm just keeping it. I kept it 100 with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Wonderful 34 was like, yo, this was no chaser for real. I'm like, so when you decide to take a picture and you want to share your body with some, a picture of your body with some person, do not have your face in it. That's what I'm telling you. Like, once that goes out into the internet and it's in the web, you ain't never getting it back. Don't have your picture and they don't have your face in it. Like, if you got tattoos or anything on your body that's going to identify that is your body, cover that up. I'm like, you shouldn't be sending pictures of your naked self to anybody. You understand that? She's like laughing. She's like, I understand. Like, but you're going to do it. Let's not even play with it. You're going to do it. If we had this technology when I was a kid, oh, bro. No, we were already a problem, bro. Ain't no, It'd have been, man, it was bad enough with Polaroids. It was plenty of drama with Polaroids. Some dudes got this girl when we was in school, man. They had mad Polaroids, bro. Had a stack of Polaroids like that. And them pictures was floating around the school. That led to somebody getting arrested because everybody in there was minors. You know what I mean? It was like, it was like the kiddie corn. Right? We'll call it kettle corn. That's what it was. It was the kettle corn. Full-blown investigation. Mad people got suspended. Few people got expelled. And the people that got suspended and expelled was at our school. The kids involved didn't even go to our school. They went to another school, but they had to investigate the pictures and who saw the pictures. Good thing I was a cool kid. No one told on me seeing the pictures. I'm talking about just seeing the pictures. But they was in there pointing at other folks. He brought them, it's more and it's this and that. I had nothing to do with that, but those pictures did float across my field of vision along with everybody else. Those pictures floated around that school. I want to say 75% of the school saw them pictures. That's how the grown-ups finally saw them. But nobody told on me. No one told nobody in my crew. Because that's a testament to, like I said, we were the berserkers, bro. It's like the last people you wanted to tell on was us. But that was back then with Polaroids. Imagine if we had this technology. Lord have mercy. I don't know if I would have made it. I'm just telling y'all the truth. I don't know if I would have made it. Let's continue.
Abortionists spend years creating believable accounts like Christie's just so they can blackmail their victims.
Potentially, that's what this whole catfishing incident was about, was just to get me to send her nudes and then at some point blackmail me for money.
Sometimes it doesn't even matter if the pictures you send are inappropriate because they'll Photoshop your face over other people's exposed bodies to scare you into giving them money. It's pure evil, and it doesn't just happen on Instagram. It happens on almost all social media platforms, including Snapchat. This next story is so sad.
Please tell the young kids about this. You can have some 15-year-old boy or girl who gets somebody in their ear and they have puppy love, right? It's puppy love, but the person in their ear might be 17, finna be 18. More experience, they in their ear, and they talk the boy or the girl into doing these type things. Let me get this picture. And like you said, it doesn't have to be a picture of the kid naked. It could just the kid is just in a seductive pose, and then they start to Photoshop. And yeah, there's technology that can show that this has been Photoshopped, but AI is around the corner. AI is really here. AI can take a picture of anybody and put them anywhere in any situation, clothes on or not. So, there's that. Now, of course, that's going to change the game when we get to that point where just people just grabbing pictures and doing AI, because right now it's really expensive to do it. But as it gets cheaper, they just start grabbing AI and you just put it in your AI device and, give me a picture of, Brad Pitt dressed up as Little Bo Peep, with men joysticks in each hand or something like that. Then people will know, like, all right, they'll begin to say, okay, this is just AI generated or whatever, but there's still going to be folks out here doing the real thing. And of course, they're going to be able to tell the difference. forensically, they'll be able to tell the difference. Like, no, this is the real thing, and this is AI. So tell your kids, tell the kids that are important to you, the kids that are in your life, that you don't want to put yourself in this situation. You're 15 years old. You can make a mistake that can follow you until you're 65-year-old, and they're about to put you on the ground. It'll follow you forever. It ain't going nowhere. Those pictures will be there. That's the problem with OF. Right? That's the problem with the adult film industry. It ain't going nowhere. You make this decision when you're young, and then when you're older, okay, you regret it. But here's the thing. They're always going to have those pictures. So make sure you tell these kids, if you love them, make sure you tell them. This story they're about to tell is real sad.
Spring of 2022, an extortionist targeted a high school student named Jordan.
He was an all-American teenager, the homecoming king, beloved by his classmates.
The extortionist made Jordan fall in love with their fake profile. Finally, Jordan felt comfortable enough to send a compromising photo. That's when the mask came off. The extortionist demanded that Jordan send them $1,000 or else they'd send the image to everyone he knew. But Jordan was still a kid. He didn't have that kind of money.
They told him $1,000. He said, I don't have that. How much do you have? $300. We'll get rid of everything, send that $300.
Jordan gave them every bit of money he had, but that wasn't enough. They wanted more money and kept threatening to send that picture. But on March 25th, 2022, everything came to a halt. Jordan took his life, and it just gets worse. According to The Independent, hours after the incident, the scammer sent the compromising photo of Jordan to one of his close friends. How evil do you have to be to do this to a 17-year-old and his family? And Jordan...
That poor kid right there, man. I feel sorry for poor Jordan. And I feel sorry for his family, but they should have had this talk. Now, the thing with us is, like I said, we were berserkers, bro. We didn't make any sense. So if you had these compromising pictures of me and I was a minor, I'd be like, come get the money. I got to come get the money. Show up in person. And we'd be waiting on you. We put you to work for us. We'd be waiting on you. Like I said, man, we were knuckleheads, bro. We were berserkers. You ain't going to do that with us, but we came from that bubble. You couldn't use something like this, like, oh, we got pictures of you with no clothes on. And you won't see it now. We didn't care, bro. We didn't make sense. Right? But we came from a different bubble. We came from a different world. Something like that, like, yeah, man, come see us. Come on down here, bro. We've been waiting on it. We had them things since we was little. We had them things. We didn't take them to school. That was stupid. But for something like this, yeah, come on down here and get this money. We got this bread. Oh, cash app it. Nah, come get it, bro. You want this bread, come get it, man. What I'm going to do to you, man, I'm only little. I'm just a kid, man. Come get this money. You know what I'm saying? And they show up for the money. Psh, man, we done hit that lick. We got a car. You know what I mean? We got dude. We going to make dude. Hey, you taking us back to wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? You taking us back to wherever you. Come on, bro. We want to see them computers. We going back to the spot. We running in there. We don't care who in there. We were berserkers, man. But again, that's a different world. This poor kid, he's the prom king, homecoming queen, king or whatever he is. Athlete, getting the good grades. You know what I mean? Just come in a good neighborhood somewhere. And he made one mistake. He made one mistake. He fell for a catfish. He ain't know no better. He fell for a catfish. And it ended up with him deleting himself. He was just like, man, he was so destroyed. Like, man, I don't let everybody down. I can't talk to my friends. I'm going to be embarrassed. I can't talk to my family. They're going to come down on me. He dude sitting there thinking he don't have any other option. So he did that to himself. And then the scammers, even after he gone, trying to continue to scam. Like, well, he gone, but you know, y'all need to send us this money or we're going to let this out. So he's going to look even worse, even when he's gone. Like, this is why you got to talk to your kids. You got to let them know. I told my daughter, like, I'm like, look, somebody going to get into your ear one day and you're going to do something like this, but like, don't show your face. Don't do this. Don't do that. Just understand that them pictures go out there. They'll be out there forever. And then we went online. I was like, look at these pictures. You go online, and of course, it's blurred out or whatever, but look at these pictures. Like, who's your favorite artist or whatever? Have you heard of this artist? Look at these pictures. Look at that. Look at that. It's like, oh man, like you take a picture, that stuff goes out there and ain't never coming back. And my little girl understands that. She understands that. So yeah, whoever that little boy is in the future who manages to get her to take that picture, She ain't gonna have her face in there. And it's another thing too. And I'm not hoping it happens. Trust me, I don't want her to do it, but let's just be real. Let's just be real. Sexing is a thing. Let's be real. Right. So we continue to have these conversations. You know, I could sit back and be like, just keep it in your pants. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's gonna work. Don't you do this. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna tell you why. And I also told my little girl too, I was like, look, you get caught up in something like this, you take that picture and you send it off or whatever, don't come crying to me. Because I'm already telling you what time it is. I'm already putting you on game. Don't come crying to me. Because I done told you. That's what you get. You just gonna have to deal with it. And it's gonna follow you for the rest of your life. Was it worth it? You know, and she just sat there and she thought about it. You know, we didn't play with this one. Like, do not take pictures. Don't do it. You can get people you care about locked up. You do that on your mama's phone, they can lock your mama up. You do that on your uncle's phone, they can lock your uncle up. Do that on my phone, they can lock me up. Don't do it. Let's continue.
Isn't the only one. So many other young people are victims of this type of scam. These extortionists are inhumane and have no empathy. According to Fox 2, a female victim of this crime received this message from her blackmailer. No matter how much you run or wherever you run, I will always have pictures of your face. My friends, the more knowledge you have about these scams, the better you can spot them. Share this video.
No matter how far you run, I will always have pictures of your face. Y'all hear that? No matter how far you run, I will always have pictures of your face. I'm gonna make my daughter watch this. Because this is the continuing conversation. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch it. Like, especially that part right here. You hear what he said? No matter how far you run, I'm going to always have pictures of your face. No matter how successful you become, I got these pictures. You about to marry the man of your dreams, you better be ready to wire me $20,000. Or I'm going to go ahead and let him see these pictures. Let him know what kind of girl you really are. Think about that. Think about that. From one mistake you made when you was a kid, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, 19, 20 years old, it's going to follow you for the rest of your life. It is what it is. Talk to your kids about this, y'all. Talk to them kids because this is scary. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is scary. And I ain't a scary type dude. This is scary. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. You know what I mean? I really do. This was this was cool. This was cool. I know it was a serious conversation. Normally we get into like that relationship stuff or whatever. We get into the red pill stuff. Trust me, we're going to get back into that. We'll be talking about Tyrese and his situation tomorrow. We're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on with the housing market a little bit tomorrow. Next week, we got Shushu Thursday. Shushu is going to be here next week. And we're going to be talking about what's going on with Victoria's Secret. They tried to go woke. It don't look like it works. So I've been sitting on that for a minute because I want to have that conversation with Shushu. You know, Shushu's an entertainer. She's an actor, a director, a writer, a creative. And, you know, she's a beautiful woman. So I want to get her take on what Victoria's Secret was doing and, you know, how Victoria's Secret is going, you know, switch it up. Brother Jack, we had a kid in his, I guess we had a kid, and I guess you're saying he was gay, and scam straight dudes out of pics. Oh my goodness. All right, yeah, okay. All right. Like he acted like a girl who was homeschooled. Bro, that is dangerous for that dude. That right there is dangerous. Doesn't sound like he's like, I don't know if he's, I guess he scammed him. Like you said, you said he scammed him, but that's dangerous for a dude. There's a story. And I don't know if it's a urban legend. I think it's not an urban legend. In fact, there was a guy, this was back when they had the talk show, you know, like you know, when Oprah was doing talk shows back in the day when she first got started, and Maury Povich, and, you know, Ricky Lake, I think it was Ricky Lake. Ricky Lake had some hood dudes that they brought on, right? And the thing was, the story was, you got this black kid from the ghetto who wants to come out the closet. And what they did was invite like his homeboys and like his closest friend. And they got his closest friend sitting there, and they got this kid who he doesn't know is gay. And the kid's like, yeah, I want to come out the closet, and, you know, I just want to tell you that, I'm gay, and like, I love you, and I've always wanted to be with you, and saying all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, when we would take showers after the football games and whatever, just saying whatever he was saying, right? So you got this dude, this straight dude from the hood, who's sitting there listening to his homeboy say these things. All right, cut, show's over, wrap, back to the real world. Well, in the real world, the gay kid got deleted, right? And he got clipped by the very guy that he had on stage that really just ambushed and embarrassed this kid on stage at Ricky Lake. That led to a homicide. And that kid, you know, the straight guy, had to sit down. I don't know what he got. I don't know if he got life. I don't know if he got 25 years. I don't know what he got. But, yo, yeah, man, that's dangerous. What dude is doing, that's dangerous. You say he's married now with a kid. That's crazy. Like, just confused little kid. That's crazy, bro. But yeah, you gotta be careful with that stuff, man. But this whole catfishing thing and these scams that are going on online, everything that's out there right now, definitely talk to your kids about it. Let them know what's going on. Don't just send them in there with the AK, metaphorically speaking. Don't just send them in there with a dangerous tool and don't explain to them how to protect themselves. Don't do that, right? Take on the responsibilities of being the adult, being the grown up in the room, and at least tell these kids. Like, I agree with Coach Greg Adams. I was watching a little bit of Coach Greg Adams today because Shaw's always talking about him. And Coach Greg Adams was saying this, and I agree with him. Once a kid is 13, 14 years old, they know what time it is. They know what they're doing. They know what they want to do, and they know that they can scheme and do, they can make things happen, right? So with that in mind, at least inform your child, prepare them, and let them know what's going on so they can make the best decision. At a very minimum, at least they know what they're doing. They were told. Simple as that. I told you the stove was hot. You burned your hand. It's not my fault. Right? So that's what I would do, guys. That's what I'm doing. So that's it. That's all I got for today, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I know it's pretty quick. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to be talking about Tyrese. You know, you guys, I'm always saying, don't get married. It's not that I got a problem with marriage. I'm like, don't get married if you got something to lose. This is a perfect example of, you know, having something to lose and not protecting for it. You ain't got nothing to lose, and you gonna marry somebody who got a bunch of money and got stuff to lose, then by all means do it. Right? We were talking to Brother Shaw about this. You know, Shaw was in the child support business. He was on the enforcement side taking money. He said this, he says it all the time, bro. You know, you guys will hear me say this all the time. The court doesn't care about your gender. They just want to know who makes the money. And Brother Shaw came in and said, absolutely, that's exactly how it works. They don't care about your gender. All they want to know is who is playing the masculine role, which is who is the one that's bringing in the money, and what is the custody arrangement. That's all they want to know. They put that information into a computer, and out comes a number. Tyrese's number right now is around $20,000 a month, and he's fighting it, which is way too high. So shout out to Brother Shaw. I am Shaw. We're going to definitely get him on this platform some more because we're going to have a conversation, a hardcore conversation about, you know, family law and how that works with, you know, with child support and what he knows about custody. Although he's not, you know, that wasn't his thing. They didn't handle custody. He just handled the money side. But the money side is what people really want to talk about, right? So get ready tomorrow, 6 o'clock. That's what it's going to be. Eastern Standard Time right here. I Really Want to Know podcast. We're going to be covering the Tyrese thing. Man, I ain't gonna lie, I feel bad for Tyrese, bro. You'll see what I mean when we get into it. I don't know if you guys have been following it, but it's all over the internet. DJ Envy story is still out there going strong. We're waiting to see if any more indictments come out. We'll see if they're gonna arrest Envy or not. We'll keep, you know, we got one eye on that. And then earlier, I was talking about an aircraft accident that happened at Houston Hobby Airport. We did that just a few hours ago. 2 airplanes crashed on the runway. No one was hurt, no serious injuries. One airplane was trying to take off, one airplane was trying to land. And I was kind of telling you guys how stuff like that could happen, who might be at fault, what to expect moving forward, what the investigators are going to be looking for, because, the NTSB, that's the National Transportation Safety Board, gets involved in these sort of things. And they'll get down to the bottom of it and find out exactly what happened and give a timeline and everything like that. It'll have radar plot points from the air, radar plot points from the ground. It'll have, the radio transmissions. It'll have all sorts of stuff. But it's going to be a while before we get there. I was thinking maybe 3 months. It might be quicker than that, though, because no one got hurt. It might be quicker than that. We'll see. But yeah, that episode's out there. Whenever I see something that's air traffic control related, I'm gonna jump right on it, because that was my expertise, man. I got tons of time in the tower. Been an air traffic controller for the majority of my adult life. So those shows are the shows that I think they're the easiest for me, and allows me to brush off the old dust on my ATC rules and kind of give you guys a glimpse into that world, because so many people are fascinated by that world. So that's on there. Just check that out. That was a DL short. And that's it, man. I'm out of here, man. I hope you guys have a good time. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Thank you very much for all the support. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat, man. I appreciate the engagement, and I see all the likes and everything like that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's keep rocking together, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Be looking out for all of the different DL shorts and whatever we're doing, and the 1 minute shorts that we're putting on the YouTube shorts. We're going to keep growing this thing, man. So, all right, I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.